Seinfeld is considered by many to be one of the greatest sitcoms ever created. This New York-based show about nothing gathered a cult following during and after its original run during the 1990s. We're going to be looking at the episodes that are not only the most influential, but also the ones that left us laughing the most. Number 5. The Hamptons. Originally airing in May of 1994, this next-to-last episode of Season 5 sparked a new meaning to the word shrinkage. The gang traveled to the Hamptons for the weekend to see a friend's newborn baby. During their time there, George's new girlfriend is seen topless, George is seen pantsless, Elaine gets a not-so-meaningful compliment, and Kramer steals a lobster, all contributing to an unfortunate weekend for the Seinfeld Four. Number 4. The Marine Biologist. Another Season 5 classic, airing in February of 1994, it was the first episode that had an alternate ending, instead of the usual stand-up comedy. This episode begins with Jerry running into one of him and George's old college friends at an ATM. Jerry lies about George's interests and line of work, leading her to become interested in him. Meanwhile, Kramer's current hobby of hitting golf balls into the ocean leads to George's epic, memorable final monologue that was able to conjure what is considered to be the longest sustained laugh by Seinfeld's studio audience in the history of the show. Number 3. The Opposite. Originally airing the episode after the Hamptons as the final episode of Season 5 in 1994, this was the first episode shot for the season, yet the last to be aired. The premise of this episode, which was discussed in a scene from the pilot of the series, involved George coming to the conclusion that everything he's ever known and done is wrong, and decides to do the opposite of every instinct he has. This decision leads him to find a new girlfriend, a great job, and a place of his own. Meanwhile, Elaine stops off for some juji fruits after hearing of her current boyfriend's hospitalization, causing them to break up. This leads to a chain of events that causes her life to become the opposite of George's new life. Elaine was up, and George was down. But now George is up, and Elaine is down. Number 2. The Soup Nazi. The first episode on this list that's not in Season 5, this Season 7 classic aired in November of 1995 during the 7th season of the series. The character the episode is focused around, known as the Soup Nazi, was inspired by an actual soup vendor in New York City, Al Yagana, who runs the Soup Kitchen International. He despised his depiction in the show. In one of the most iconic episodes of the series, several major and minor characters travel and obsess over this soup stand that makes fantastic soup. However, the owner is obsessed with having his customers order in certain ways. This episode coined the everlasting phrase, "No soup for you!" Number 1. The Contest. This Season 4 episode aired in November of 1992. After George is caught by his mother, George, Jerry, Elaine, and Kramer enter a contest to determine who can go the longest without gratifying themselves. The topic of this episode was considered controversial when it was originally broadcast by NBC. However, Seinfeld is able to get away with such a controversial subject on primetime television by using only euphemisms to describe the subject of the episode. One of the most influential euphemisms of the show that is still referenced in pop culture today is the phrase, "master of my domain," though it is often used in a different context. Larry David won a Primetime Emmy for Outstanding Individual Achievement in Writing in a Comedy Series for his work on the episode. Thank you for watching the first video on this channel about one of my favorite shows of all time. I plan on continuing to upload more lists on a near daily basis about a wide variety of relevant and random topics. Feel free to subscribe if you'd like to see more.